Hey guys, Dissection of Violence here. Didn't even really want to do this video, but it wouldn't be me without being transparent, so gotta be transparent. Let's start it off though. So we had Cavalcanti versus Farron. I had Farron on the spread. I gotta stop playing spreads so much. Especially like props, you gotta take them when you see them. I'm not mad at my Reese McKee prop. We'll get into that fight in a second, but for the most part, I'm gonna chill with props. Focus on, especially on cards where I feel like the predictions will be pretty good. I'm gonna do a lot more money line parlays, but yeah, guys, not a great showing for me. Not prediction wise, I did good, but betting wise, I am very mad at myself for tonight. But yeah, let's get into it. So we had Cavalcanti. I live better in around the second round or first round to win by decision. She doesn't have the most powerful shots, but she's very accurate. Sarah Farron is also pretty tough. She's 6-6 now, so she's definitely on her way out of the UFC. The only French fighter to lose actually on the whole card. Cavalcanti is she's okay. She's got some nice footwork. She stays somewhat active. Took her a little bit to go get her rhythm. A nice fight I think would be good for her would be Jamie Linhorth. Both are coming off wins against, you know, bigger, stronger opponents. And I think it would, match up pretty well. I'm going to go with Cavalcanti in that fight, but Jamie Linhorth is also really good, so it could be a really good fight. I'm going to go with, I'm not going to go with, I'm going to move on from this, though. We had Farid Basharat versus Clayton Rodriguez. Hindsight's 2020. Easy money. I knew it was going to be easy money, but I just didn't, put that extra oomph like I did with. If I was willing to put that much on Reese McKee plus 3.5, I should have put a lot more on Farid. But it is what it is. Negative 400. There's only so much you can do, and the odds I didn't know how he's going to win. If he was going to TKO him, if he's going to submit him, I don't know what. Seems like submission though is his thing. So I'm going to keep that in mind more, especially when he's fighting guys with not good cardio like Clayton. He gassed within 3 minutes. Good win for Farid. Definitely a beast. I'm interested to see who they give him next. If it was up to me, I'd give him Julia Arce. Nothing too crazy up in the division, but Julia Arce seems like a pretty fair next fight. Moving on. The controversy starts. Nora Carnal versus Jocelyn Edwards. So Edwards, in my opinion, won the fight 2-1, maybe even 3-0. To give Nora Cornell, however you say her name, a 30-27, I think should be investigated by the athletic commission because that is wrong. To say she won the fight is wrong, but I still wouldn't be mad at it because Jocelyn Edwards, she got a little karma because you see, Edwards screwed me last year or earlier this year for 7 grand for the Pudilova fight. I learned that day to never, ever, ever assume that person won, just because of the odds. She was like a negative 800 favorite going into the decision, and unfortunately, the judges, the odds makers, kind of saw what I was seeing that there's a good chance she wins, but there's also a good chance the judges get it wrong, and that's what happened here. The crowd didn't help; they were all on Cornell's side. But yeah, I thought Edwards did enough to win. I don't mind taking an L here. It is what it is. I almost swept the card. If I did things properly, I would have swept the card. But it is what it is. Nora Conal got the win. Yeah. I lied better, so I'm happy that lie bet worked out. But it could have easily have not worked out as well. So good win for Nora. Yeah. I think the next fight for her though, unfortunately for her, is I think Egger. Egger's next for her, in my opinion. But we'll see how it goes. Because the thing with Cornell is she doesn't have like her grappling isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's also pretty bad. Like her wrestling is very very bad. I'm gonna go with in that fight. I'd have to go with man. That's hard. It's a hard fight to call. I hope they put that together though. Moving on. This is what really killed us tonight, guys, and I am so sorry about this. I should have learned my lesson with Cage Warriors, but unfortunately, it doesn't take like one lesson or two. It takes about 3 or 4 until I get the message. Reese McKee is not good. He's a dog. He's got a dog in him, but he's not good. He takes way too much damage for having such an of reach and height advantage. He doesn't use it at all. He uses it a little bit, but Man, what a terrible performance by Reese McKee in the first 2 rounds. Jumping guillotines, um, getting taken down at will. He showed glimpses of the takedown defense that I saw in Cage Warriors, but it's like I don't know. It's like he can't. It has to be like in his flow to defend the shots, because if they're just shots out of rhythm, he can't deal with them. Angelusa, he showed great pace and output, especially in that second round. Man, that flurry almost put Reese away. You could give him a 10-8 round, but I don't think that'd be correct. But it is what it is. I definitely don't see how Reese lost that third round. The third round was clear as day, Reese McKee. Lusa was on death's door. But they gave it to Lusa at 30-27. Absolutely broke my heart, broke my night. Taught me another lesson to stay away from props. Um, Obviously, you can lean on them a little bit, but don't make them the priority of your night. You'll get burned, whether it's an over, whether it's an under, whether it's an in the decision, whether it's two decision. They always somehow screw you. So I'm gonna go with. I'm good. I'm not gonna go with. I'm really sorry about this. Negative point 0.5 units loss on McKee alone. Probably more actually with parlay. Really unfortunate night. I'm really sorry about this, but Lusa, as revenge, I think you should fight. If you want an easy fight, Parsons, because his takedown defense. If you want a hard and his age, if you want a harder fight, Rowe, but even then his takedown defense and cardio, so you could win that. And then Malott would be his hardest fight. I think Malott versus Lusa would make the most sense for January. But you never know. He did take a little bit of damage in that third round. He could want to take a little bit of time off. So you never know. He might take a lower ranked guy, but I think he should take another step up in the division. He's a pretty talented guy. He's got his holes, of course, but most people do. So good win for Angelusa. I'm sorry about that. Reese McKee, Cage Warriors. What are you gonna do? Speaking of Cage Warriors, moving on, we have Taylor Lapilus versus Colin Loughrane. Lapilus is 10 times the fighter Loughrane is. Loughrane is a Giga Chad with Dober qualities. He doesn't have Dober's power. He has a little bit of power, but not Dober power. He's got Dober's chin. He has more confidence than Dober. Probably not anymore, but he did. I just feel like this was like one big humble pie for Colin Loughrane. I felt like it was coming for a while now. Cage Warriors champs mean absolutely nothing to me anymore. Molly McCann was a Cage Warriors champ, if that means something to you. Like, look at these two guys. Two guys with a belt versus two guys without a belt, and it wasn't even close to having a win for them. That's all you need to know. Cage Warriors is a bum promotion. Sure, they'll have 1 out of 10 guys that are good, but most of the time they're shit. Absolutely bad. Like, baffling how bad these guys are. But yeah, let's get into it. Taylor Lupulus, his work off his back is not good, but he's got great hips, good takedown defense. His striking is really good. Cardio doesn't look amazing, but Loughran was pushing a pace, so you never know. Lapilus, in my opinion, he should fight someone a little higher up in the division. I know he just got back to the UFC, but he's been in the UFC before. We shouldn't give him that new contender treatment. I think he should fight someone along like Koho Kang or maybe an Ayman Zahabi next. That would be a cool next step for him. But yeah, good win for Lapilus. Lauren, you are a meathead. Moving on. Morgan Charrier versus Manola Cecchini. What am I doing? Putting money on a Romanian. What are they good at? They have one decent fighter, and even he was a fraud. Obviously, I screwed the pooch with this one. Even though his record's trash, he's still very, very talented. Morgan Charrier with an easy win. I should have called that. Um, we still got some value on Charrier for next week though, so that's good. Radke, negative 125. Gotta love that. But other than that, pretty frustrating. Moving on, we have William Gomez versus Yanis Gamuri. This was probably should give Morgan's next opponent. I think Charrier should fight Woodson next. Show that he is not the guy that people are making him out to be. But that fight can make that expose, like, is he that guy or is he not? So I want to see him fight Woodson next. Moving on, Gomez versus this was frustration. Jamori fights okay. He's not the worst fighter I've ever seen, but he was spastic as all get out. Especially in that first few rounds, he was just flinching, overreacting to everything. Like his head movement was suspect. His chin was high. Like I was just waiting for the KO to happen. The KO happened, but not like it was supposed to. He gets not soccer kick. He gets a nice, a nice roundhouse kick to the balls with the toe, or I don't even remember. But yeah, it was clean to the jock. And Gomez, so frustrating. He's classy, I'll give him that. But other than that, man, Gomez is a fraud, and I can't play him, man. He's not that guy. Yanis Gamori was French as well, so you never know. He could have had a great performance. Third round, he got screwed over. He would have lost the fight anyways. I know, I get it. But what I don't like is bad refereeing and judging. It ruins the sport, and that's what just happened there. No way in blue hell should that have been a TKO finish, because not only does that rob William Gomez of a win in his career, because people are going to look to that and think of it as an asterisk. If anything, it's not a positive, you know? But anyways, William Gomez got the win. He showed some clean striking from the outside, but that's what I expected from him. He's still not the guy people are making him out to be. But yeah, next up, let's try to get him a guy that will break him, show the weaknesses that I see. Let's give him a veteran in Pinedo here. Either he KOs Pinedo or he gets submitted or TKO'd or loses a decision, because I think Pinedo's the veteran that can get it done. Moving on. We have Volkan Oezdemir versus Bogdan Guskov. Hindsight 2020. Once again, he was 14-1 or 14-2. I didn't know what to make of him. I thought maybe he's a fraud, but also maybe he's legit. That there's been a lot of frauds as of late that have showed up, and I didn't want to make that same mistake. So I took Volkan, but not as a heavy play. It is what it is. Volkan's on the rise up. He's improving drastically in his career. Guskov is a fraud. There's not much else you could say about that fight. Uzumir was a lock in hindsight. I screwed that up. But yeah, one good thing came out of this. We might see him get a redemption win against Anthony Smith, because there's no way in blue hell Volkan screws up that fight twice. I don't think. But yeah, we got Volkan Ozdemir here. Good win. Moving on. Benoit Saint Denis. I should have just trusted my gut here. Thiago Moises is a soy BJJ guy. He's somewhat tough, but for the most part, he crumples when there's too much of an avalanche. He can't handle it. When it's a little bit of an avalanche, he might be able to deal with it. But like Moises is not that guy, man. He can't handle the striking. His wrestling is okay. It's not the greatest. He trains at a good gym, so you'd expect it to be amazing, but it's not. He got absolutely melted in the second round. I actually thought he'd survive to see the third, but turns out he just curled up in a ball and just decided, you know what, I'm done. It is what it is. Moises was never that guy to me. He just had good jiu-jitsu and some decent control time. But yeah, Benoit Saint Denis, what a beast. But the thing with this is he's way too hittable. And if you're fighting guys, if Moises is cracking you on the chin, you're gonna have a problem in the division. Hopefully he fixes those holes up, because he's gonna have to fight someone like a Grant Dawson, who's, in my opinion, a harder threat to Saint Denis grappling wise than Moises was. But as far as on the feet, he should win that all day, or at least I don't even know. I would actually take Dawson in that fight. I think Dawson's would cruise in that fight. But if you give him Hooker, I think that would be a barn burner as well. I want to see Hooker for fight of the year, but you never know what they're going to do with this guy. He takes a lot of damage in his fights, so he takes time off in between. We'll see. Moving on, we had Manon Fiorot versus Rose Namajunas. Namajunas is 11-6, and she is a she's considered one of the greatest to ever do it. That's women's MMA for you. That is freaking women's MMA at its finest. You could say, oh, she's past her prime. Oh, she's not in the same headspace. No, Rose is always going to be Rose. She's a savage, and she has such good qualities about her, but her mind is her biggest weakness and also her biggest strength. So it's like on tonight, her finger got broken. It showed her toughness because she fought through that. But at the same time, man, like she didn't look like she wanted to be in there. Like it took she needs someone to tell her to be motivated, and that is just why she's always going to lose against these high level opponents. Wei Li is a little different. In my opinion, she makes a little more tactical errors, and I think Rose took advantage of those tactical errors. But even in the second fight, she could have lost that fight. If she didn't just start, I'm the best in the fifth round and pull that takedown out of the hat, then we could have lost that fight. It was a split decision. But yeah, Rose won. Rose lost. Manon Fiorot, she's gonna get exposed soon enough. She is not the girl people are making her out to be. I think Blanchfield beats her easily. Yeah, Fiorot is. She's okay. She's not bad at all. She's just not what people are making her out to be. She is not that killer people are making her out to be. In my opinion, if Rose got a win here, I wouldn't consider it a robbery. I'd say Manon won, but I wouldn't say it was a robbery. Roses was landing some decent shots for being one-handed. That just shows Manon Fiorot is not that person. She can't beat a one-handed opponent. Anyways, moving on. Oh, actually, no. Fiorot versus Blanchfield. I don't even need my sheet for this. Blanchfield is next. I don't care if Blanchfield. I mean, Blanchfield could get a title shot next. I wouldn't be opposed to that. But it goes Blanchfield, Manon, and Manon. And I feel like Malone has done work in the division and deserves if not a title shot, the number one contenders fight, and that is against Blanchfield. I'm going with Blanchfield in that fight all day, but Manon could surprise me. It's women's MMA. Moving on, we had the main event. We had Fiorot Gane versus Sergey Spivak. Sergey Spivak is Sergey Spivak. He is he's decent top pressure, nothing off his back, and even less on the feet. It is what it is. Gane put him away. I think he broke a rib as well. Like Gane's a beast. He's a little sloppy at times, but he's a beast. I think Aspinall puts him away. I think Aspinall, beats Gane pretty easily. But you never know. It's heavyweight. He could sleep Aspinall. I don't know. That's the fight I'm most looking forward to, though. Aspinall versus Gane is going to be a classic. Yeah, guys. Negative 3.9 on the night. 9-2 on predictions. Can't hate me for that. I screwed up in one spot, and that spot dictated the card. We move on. We go on. We learn from this, and we go on to next week. I'll see you guys next week. We got UFC Dana White Contender Series. We got so much on the rise. Let's catch it.